I have 6:30. I'll call this meeting of the mayor and council to order. This is our work session. We will start with the regular agenda. Tonight we'll have the invocation, have announcements. You all received a copy of the announcements. We have a proclamation for Dr. Carlin. We also have a proclamation for African American History Month, and then a resolution for Tisha Rowland, Community Hero. And then Ms. Fuller will be here to accept her Volunteer of the Year award. Does anybody have any questions over ceremonial matters? Minutes, Councilman Sabag, did you have a question on the minutes?
Last work session we had, we covered an agenda item about the lake that was on the main agenda. It did not make it on the minutes this time.
So are you asking that we postpone the minutes? Or
Last.
that?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Does anybody have an objection to that? Take a motion at the appropriate time. We'll have the state of the city. I will not be giving that tonight. And we'll have a presentation by the Snellville Entrepreneur Council. Under our public hearing, we'll have a second reading on the ordinance that will allow SWYOB to art shops, art studios. We have the one trying to come into Snellville. We had a first reading before, and so approved it on a work session. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Davis on the second reading of the ordinance? Then we have second reading on an ordinance clarifying the mayor's authority to participate in administrative affairs to the city pursuant to section 3.10E of the city charter. Anybody have any questions or comments on that second reading? I think we've been through it quite extensively last time. Second reading on the home rule ordinance to add section 5.16C to the charter. Any questions or comments on that? Same thing on section 2.31 of the charter. Any questions or comments on that? E, section 3.11 of the charter. Any questions or comments on that? New business, we have on our agenda tonight stats contract for 2013. You all received a copy of that. Mr. Sanders, are there any changes in the contract?
No, what I tried to do with this changed contract was accommodate many of the comments and ideas that have been brought up in the meetings that we've had, the meetings that all of us have had together, apart with Ms. McAloon, with the board and Mr. Britt. We've tried to, I would say, put a little more operational accountability in place where everything it is a little more understood and public, and especially understood between the stat board and the mayor and council. We have not substantively changed the financial arrangement. We have just made it, we've just put it into a more obvious form, putting into the contract exactly what we have in our budget to support STAT in their events. And they serve as the marketing arm of the city. It is a legitimate expense for legitimate use of hotel motel tax dollars. So I know I've been on the phone a lot today with Ms. McAloon and Mr. Britt. I think I've answered a lot of their questions, maybe not all of them. They do not have, at this time, they don't have any events scheduled between now and our next meeting. They may, Tom, I don't know, as the sponsor, if they have talked with you about delaying this for a couple of weeks.
Well, there was on both sides. There were some questions that we, with the mayor, had. I copied you on an email about some questions that you had. You're fine with anything? Okay, great. And I know that Don and Kelly McAloon may have just a couple of things to work out. So I suggest we just, since something's happening between now and the 11th, we just push it out. I thought that we had on both sides some things, but we only have them on one. if we could just get those two things worked out, then we put it on the 11th meeting and then get it,
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
Because and just to update, I've started tracking down some of the, I guess, clear-cut answers to those issues. The stat folks, being a separate nonprofit, private not-for-profit organization, they receive other funds besides our funds. And they have some questions about how to keep those separate, what could be put in there together. Do they need a different form of budget? So I talked with the auditor today. I've got a call in with DCA. We'll straighten that out. So everybody will be on the same page
Right.
if you desire to
Yeah,
wait.
so
2 weeks.
I requested we just, or if I had to do it at the time, just postpone that, till I'll make a motion to postpone it to the February 11th meeting.
And then we have a resolution fixing and qualifying fees for November. Moving on then to our work session agenda, we have this policy on smoking in the park update. Ms. Platt, is there any?
No, we really probably need to push that to the second meeting in March, because we don't have, our leagues don't start until the end of February.
Okay.
And that'll let us get some practices and some games in, to see how it kind of is working.
Okay, so we'll put that back on an agenda, the second meeting in March, but in the meantime, you're not asking us to do anything?
No.
Anybody have any questions for Ms. Platt? Sign tour, you all received an email, we have that scheduled for this Friday. All right,
Yes, we do. And I think John might have, John, have you handed out information?
I have not, sir, but I'll send it around. We've got 3 stops that we're thinking about. City of Swanee, Gwinnett Place, and Norcross. They all have different types of signage. They come from basically similar source design.
Kinda looks like we just took the tour.
Yeah. Now you get to do it in person.
I'm just saying.
It looks a lot better when you see it on the ground. But we'll hit all 3 of those.
and so what is the time of that? We're meeting here
Here at 9 o'clock
on Friday,
on Friday.
and we're supposed to conclude when?
We should conclude,
Be back by 2 or
after lunch.
2:30.
Can I ask a question? I thought this tour, maybe I misunderstood it completely. I thought this tour was to talk about business signs.
It is, it's really for 3 things. It's for wayfinding signage, monument signage that we're gonna go by, we might as well look at, and any details in the sign ordinance that may come up. It helped me, I can tell you, when the last time I went through a signage process in Dalton, by visiting other communities, we're gonna get out of the bus, and we're gonna walk around downtown Norcross. It always helped me at that time to just run into people and say, "Hey, what do you like about this town? Does the signage help you here? Does it direct you where you're going? You try to find out from people out on the street. You learn a lot that way. And so it's just, we had, I think you had the short within Snellville tour a couple of months ago. This is just meant to see some other communities, and it should serve all those purposes, Tom.
There's
If you
some rather
remember-
interesting stuff.
I looked at this, I just saw one thing and I
Yeah.
changed it.
And if
Those
you,
are the pretty pictures.
if you remember, when I first brought this up a few months ago, we arranged the inside tour to address the issues in our sign ordinance. But after visiting Norcross, I asked that we arrange the larger tour because of Norcross's monument signs and the maps that they have.
And the reader board
And
that's
the
going
reader
in
board,
also.
yes. Mr. Davis, I have to get the jail at 8:30, and so I will have to meet y'all somewhere. Can you just maybe email me where you think you'll be around 10 o'clock or so? Or the best time to meet you after that?
Yes, ma'am. We can do that.
Does anybody else have any conflicts for Friday?
I may have one, I have to check, let you know later in the week.
I will not be in town on Friday.
Next, we have the Lower Johnson Lake, Councilman Sabar.
I've sent a few emails and there was some responses back and forth, to see if we can get council and have a meeting of the minds about what's happening. but schedules were not, I think they were too conflicting, couldn't meet together as council to see where we're heading with this, very, very important, topic. So I think the overall, message I got that we're gonna do research on our own, extend that, the council members wanting to do that. Council members want to do that, and I did too. So I went to the lake and I, walked around it and looked at the video that was sent to us, and appreciate the video, pretty informative. So I would ask, based on my own finding, my own information, phone calls that I made, there's two distinct areas. One area is the homeowner association, the other area is the city of Snellville responsibility. That's my understanding, and the way I see it is that the pipe under the street, what's that called?
Drain.
The drain under the street, has certain signs of wear and tear and damage, and I think Mr. Davis last time told us flat out that this is a big issue, and it might not last, and it can be a liability. So I would like to ask again, this time without including the homeowner associations on any of the future resolutions, to have a resolution drafted excluding anything linked to the homeowner association. Simply fix that drain pipe, whether it's slip lined, concrete, or whatever those things. You can put that on there to have it fixed for us to consider. And meanwhile, we got 2 more weeks to continue to look at this and see what's happening, because the way I see it, I hate for that to be an obvious liability for us anytime soon. I don't know what soon is, but it could happen sooner than later.
Well, I sent a letter up to him, I'm sure you're all aware of that, I've got through the detail. I went out and also did some research, and basically, there's 2 things I found. Well, first of all, Mike, not to disagree with what you're saying, but I watched those videos, and I watched the videos of both pipes. And you watch the first pipe, gets all the way into it, and it says, minor surface rust, no compromising of the thing. Could be slip line, but no compromising of the pipe. The second one, when it gets to the end of the tape and they show the results, it says, minor rust on galvanized pipe on the road, pipe is compromised due to damage. The damage is 75 feet from the beginning of it. I think it's at the 75.7 foot mark from the beginning of the pipe, which puts it all the way into the dam. The damage is at the end of the pipe, right at the riser, the standpipe, okay? There's no damage, under the road's not showing damage. It's showing damage to the pipe. It says the pipe is compromised due to damage. The damage is at the end of the pipe. As a matter of fact, if you look at the video where it ends, you see a piece of wood sticking in it. I have a picture of the wood, the outside of the wood at the other end of the pipe, at the pipe. I mean, it's right there at the end, 25 feet off the roadway. Is the only place it's showing damage. I have been saying all along, but I think this damage was caused by the contractor. I've said it since I think August, and certainly voiced it very loudly in December. To the best of my knowledge, unless it's been done in the last 24, 48 hours, the contractor nor the insurance company of the contractor has ever been contacted. That brings up 2 issues. Number one, I would suggest nobody touches anything there until an insurance company or the contractor looks at it and sees the damage. The damage to that standpipe is absolutely caused by machinery. The only machinery on that site was the homeowner's contractors, homeowner association contractors' machinery. That pipe is damaged because of that machinery. The ultimate responsibility, in my mind, for the financial responsibility to repair that pipe lies with the contractor who damaged it. What happened was, their lake was declining. Everyone thought that the lake was declining because of the standpipe. I believe that it wasn't the standpipe, but it was the pipe between the standpipe that went out into the lake, out to the gate. That pipe is still on site, you can go look at it. There's holes in that pipe. The only holes in any pipe from from the gate all the way through to the other end of the pipe is in that piece of pipe from the standpipe out into the lake. What I believe is that, you know, that pipe was underwater consistently, constantly, and it's compromised. And I believe that what happened was the water was running down through those holes in that pipe, running under that standpipe. There's no valve or anything there, but standpipe, and running out. And that's the original problem that started the decline, the lake losing its water. Then I understand that the gentleman went out there and excavated around that so you could see what could happen and submit a bid to the homeowners association for that. He gave a bill of about $12,000. From what I've discovered from talking to people out there, I have one person who actually saw the large crane in action in January and watched that crane damage that standpipe. The standpipe is laying on its side. And if you look at that pipe, you can see that there's no way that can be done by man or water. I mean, it's literally torn. It's like you tear a wetback hose, you know, it gets torn and it's gone. It's there, it's very obvious to see. You can also see where, on the opposite end of the standpipe, where the pipe is torn off. You can match up one end of the pipe at the gate to the part of the standpipe that was damaged, okay? So the damage in that standpipe is substantial. That's not where the leak was. And just left that pipe damaged like that. So the responsibility for the repair certainly falls, in my mind, upon the contractor. Whether the contractor's insurance company covers that or not is between him and his carrier. No one knows the answer to that until they see a copy of his policy. But the damage to that pipe lies with that contractor. And the homeowners association or the city of Snellville should not spend one dime until that's researched and viability is established. To me, there's not a doubt in my mind that when that happens, it's gonna be that the contractor damaged that pipe. If I went into your house and you had a leaky toilet, and on the second floor, and I as a contractor went in there, and while I was fixing your leaky toilet, I broke your supply line, okay? And flooded your ceiling, and that ceiling fell down on your hardwood floors and warped your hardwood floors. I'm responsible for all that. I caused that damage. Okay, you had one leak. You didn't have all these other problems when I entered the building. When I left the building, you did. I'm responsible. This is the same on a different scale, but I believe the same scenario. So I urged the homeowners, and I sent this letter out to the homeowners, urged them to contact the homeowners association. Let's do this the right way. In my mind, it should have been done that way last January. Let's get the contractor involved in this. Let's get his carrier involved with this. Even the homeowners association policy may cover it on a liability standpoint, and then subrogate against the contractor or the contractor's insurance carrier. I don't know all that, but I know that the process has to begin before we get there. I think David has talked to the engineer about the emergency on the pipe, and David,
He says there is no emergency. We need to do something about it, we need to address it. His exact words are, we don't believe an emergency contract is needed. The owner should deliberately set out to create a set of construction documents, have it permitted by the appropriate registry authorities, and go on that way. So there is some need to address the pipe, there is no emergency.
Who said that?
Which engineer?
the engineer.
Mark Patterson Lane.
Was he the same guy that said that this pipe is jeopardized? And I'm saying it's not.
He never said, he said, there's a problem. You don't need to jump up and down and fix it right now.
There is a problem, it's damaged.
It's
who damaged it?
There is no threat to the integrity of the road based on his findings.
Thank you for bringing that up. In my situation now is how long do we wait? I mean, when does it become an issue? When does it become a problem where we have to then jump through
Realistically,
hoops?
it became an issue the day after it happened.
Okay, so what do we do as
We can't do anything.
I'm saying as far as that, what Councilman Manuel's talking about, the situation I hear from the message is there's no emergency at this point.
Right.
When does it become an emergency? How long? Is there a time that we can consider
The day before it
waiting?
collapses.
Well, that's
That's
no,
when it
no,
becomes an emergency.
it's not gonna be something that happens in the next year.
It's got plenty of integrity to withstand another 6 months. It's something we shouldn't just put off and say, we don't even worry about it. We need
I would
plenty for it.
suggest to you that if this was handled that way when it happened, okay, that problem be corrected and gone by now.
You mean the insurance
Yes.
itself?
I strongly believe that. I also, and it's not just my opinion, a good friend of mine who lives in a subdivision owned a company that did insurance claims. He was a general adjuster. I've spoken with him about it. He told me that 9 months ago, 10 months ago, he suggested to the homeowners association that they turn it in. They fell on deaf ears at that point. He also agrees that this absolutely is the contractor's responsibility, the damage is caused by the contractor. That I can't see spending one dime of taxpayers' money to fix something that is caused by a third party. That third party should be the first line of correcting it. Not the city spending money and going after it. I mean, it's gotta be established now, and if you go in there and you start moving pipes and doing things like that, you don't have a claim anymore. You've now destroyed the evidence, okay? It's, right now, it's not a crime scene, but it's the insurance company's equivalent of a crime scene. Okay, there's damage done there, and somebody's responsible, and the evidence of what was done and how it was done is right there in that ground. And it's as clear as the glasses on your face to me. I can see them. I got my glasses on, now I can't. So again, I mean, and that's the letter that I sent a letter basically saying that.
I haven't read.
Okay, but basically just, I really think that this is just, I think it needs to go back to square one and let's do it right. Let's do get the information we need, get the people involved that need to be involved in it. And to my knowledge, the contractor, nor the contractor's insurance company have ever been contacted. And to me, they should have been the first people contacted.
Let me ask, Mr. Sanders, the engineering firm that came up and took the video and closed circuit TV, are they easily obtainable? I mean, can we get them on a conference call and have this discussion? Because it seems to me that I'm not able to get everybody together around a table. Is there a possibility that you can arrange for us a 800 number that we can dial?
I'm sure we can. If
One
we'll take an 800 number.
Can I ask, what are we gonna establish?
I haven't, truly, this is from my own, I mean, if you don't want to.
No, I just wanna know what information you're looking for.
Well, I wanna ask the same questions that you asked to this, to these engineering firms or that individual. And at the same time, I had to pass that video to someone who teaches, other engineers how to study these pipes on the streets, and that's his specialty. I haven't got back a feedback from him just yet, but I'm gonna bug him on it and find out what he had to say. But my point is, if I can get that individual on the line, and maybe the entire council can get on, and let's just have a pretty formal conversation about what's going on, what are we waiting on, how long do we have, where are the critical pieces of damages, are they inside? Are they on edges, and what areas of the street are gonna be affected if we don't take immediate action? And if we take action, what happens to that insurance situation that you're talking about? How will it become
I can answer that.
null and void, et cetera?
I can answer that.
So I would like to
It
have a
becomes
meeting.
null and void. And again,
There you go, 800 number.
and once again, I don't think there's any doubt that the pipe is damaged. I think there is some difference of opinion about where the pipe is damaged. I'm saying it's outside, it's more or less in the dam, not under the road. I think both of those videos show that the road piece has never been penetrated. I had people tell me that they'd been told that there was roots growing through all those pipes all the way through there. Well, you and I both know after looking at that video, there's not one penetration from a root in that pipe. There's none. So, there's a lot of misinformation out in the community. So I was able, by showing people the video and telling them about it, I think I was able to squash some of that. But basically, even at that, the big problem is, who's responsible for the cost of repair of this pipe? Now, one thing, if we repair a pipe under the road, that does not put the lake down. All that does is repair under the road.
That's true, I'm not arguing about that.
And that might be a solution for the people of Timberland, if the road was really in a condition where it was going to collapse, which I personally don't feel it in the next 2 years or 5 years, actually. But more importantly, that doesn't do anything for the people in Summit Chase who still don't have a lake. And matter of fact, in my mind, I think it would be more expensive for them. If we went and we fixed that lake to what we need, it'd be more expensive for them to come in later and attach to our pipes, okay, and adapt to what we've done in order for them to get their lake back. So, I think it needs to be fixed all at one time. I think all, it should be one unified approach. But most importantly, homeowners association doesn't have the money to repair it. I don't feel they should be responsible for repairing it. This is a $65,000 to $130,000 swing for the city. It's the difference of us spending the $30,000 we've spent, along with the $35,000 we're talking about spending to repair under the road, okay? And $65,000 out of our budget, as opposed to, when liability is established, sending a bill for $65,000 and being reimbursed for it. So I mean, that has to be taken into consideration. That's $165,000 of taxpayers' money that we shouldn't spend until and if we absolutely have to. And again, I think that's very questionable if we have to.
And I don't think we've had the opportunity to get to the contractor to be reimbursed for the $30,000 we have already spent as a city trying to do the best thing we could to protect that from a situation we didn't cause. We already have a $30,000 investment. And we haven't even had the opportunity to give anybody a bill.
Right.
And I think that's unfortunate if we don't get that opportunity.
All right, bear in mind, that the lake going down, original problem, had nothing to do with the city and the city's pipes. At that point, we had no damage. There was a pipe leading from their standpipe out into the lake. The pipe is there, I strongly recommend you go look at it, see the holes in it. So the city was whole at that point, okay? Now, maybe there was I don't know, I wasn't privileged to the conversation, I don't know where it came that the standpipe was a problem, because it wasn't. If you look at the standpipe, you can see that there was no leaks or anything, no holes in that area, it was all farther out. And even when they dug around the standpipe, water didn't leak there, the lake was still going down, but the water didn't leak where they dug the hole, because the water was going right through there because of the problem was out in the lake. So the city was whole at that point. When that big equipment came in there and it destroyed that standpipe and the pipe leading from the standpipe to the road, okay, then now it's damaged. It's laying over on the side. 20 men couldn't stand it back up. That was caused by that piece of machinery. Now the city isn't whole anymore, right?
Well, obviously, this.
Right. So I mean, so even we have two questions. Is it an emergency to fix under that road? And that is one that bothers you, and you should follow that.
Right.
The other one is, who caused the damage and who's responsible for it? And that's my point, is that the person that's been responsible hasn't even been contacted at this point, to my knowledge.
See, those are the questions I wanted to have these engineers to answer. Whoever was working on there that did standpipe or removed the standpipe, was that damage, did that damage happen then, or that damage happened a year later by somebody else? I don't know.
Right, go take a look at it.
I have, I've been
Absolutely.
there.
Well, then, I'll be glad to meet you and show you what I've found.
Maybe.
And we have pictures from it a day after it happened. We have one witness that saw it happen, saw the crane roll the pipe over. I mean, and the man just told me, he said, I'm willing to testify in court. I sat in my office looking out my window and watched it. I mean, unlike you, I don't think that who caused that damage is even questionable. I think that's a done deal. I think it probably in the heart of hearts the contractor knows it's wrong. But he's never been, he's been omitted from all of this, the last 2 years, he's been omitted from everything. It's gone to the homeowners association and it's gone to the city. And to me, that'd be like me causing an accident and you're going after somebody else. It's just, let's go after the guy that caused damage. He knows he did. At the very worst, okay, we have his insurance, let him go in and fix it. At the very worst.
What's his liability?
I know he has a policy that'll pay for that damage 10 times over.
We've been saying the same things now, so I'm gonna move us along to the next agenda item.